Today we're going to look at formatting underlines as they apply to business forms in InDesign. So you can see that I have the basics of a form here. The first thing I'm going to do is turn on hidden characters. So I'm going to type Option Command I, and then you see all the paragraph breaks in the document, which is really important to do when you're formatting text. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a style sheet for the labels for the form. So I'm going to go over to my paragraph styles palette. I'm going to option click on new paragraph style. I'm going to call this labels. And then really the first thing I want to do is just in this case I want it to be really clear what's going on. So I'm going to space things out a lot so we can see what's going on in this tutorial. And the other thing is that having a big gap between the lines really helps give the person enough space to write on the page when they're writing by hand, in case some people have some really big handwriting. So the second thing I'm going to do is put first and last name on the same line. So I'm going to put my cursor before last name and then backspace and hit the tab key on the keyboard. And I'm going to do that for each line. I'm going to put 2 entries on each line. So I'm going to put the 2 telephone numbers on the same line, and I put a tab between each. So now let's select all this text, go into our labels style sheet. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to go down to the tabs pane, and I'm going to drag a tab over to about halfway across the page, and you see that everything gets spaced out there. So let's bring it over a little bit. So that's looking great. So that gives us enough room to write. Now what we need to do, and this is the basic point of this assignment, is I want a line across here that's like an underline for people to write on. So that takes a character style. So what I'm going to do is double click, and that selects just the tab character. I'm going to option click on new character style. I'm going to call it Underline, and I'm going to go to Underline. Well, let's check first. Okay, so apply in the general pane, apply style to selection is on and preview is on. So we're going to see what's going on the fly. So I'm going to turn on Underline, and we see the underline come up in the background. So I'm going to explicitly tell it I want them to be half a point thick in this case. You can do what you want here. A solid line, no offset, and I want it to stay the same color as the text. So if I change my paragraph style, the underline will change to the same color. So that's pretty cool. Let's click OK, and then highlight this tab and click on Underline, and look at that. We get a form with beautiful underlines. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then, so now what I need to do is at the end of these fields, type in a tab here also and apply Underline to all of these. And we notice that we still need to format these tabs so that they go to the end. Oh, I need one here also. So I'd go through my style sheet and put in a tab so that it goes to the end of the line. So let's go into Labels, Tabs, drag the ruler over and put in another tab that goes all the way to the margin. That's working out fine. I'm going to click OK and click out. I'm going to hit Escape to get out of the box, and then hit W to preview this. So this looks pretty good, except that I find that the underline, let's zoom in here, the underline is really close to the words. When I move over here, look, the underline goes right up against it. So what I'm going to do is just put in a space here, and I need my space to not be underlined. So I'm going to click Character Style None. So let's get out of this preview mode so we can see what's going on. See, I typed a space character here. So I'm going to put my cursor in here and make this underline none. Make it Character Style None, and it gives me a nice gap in between my words. So I'm going to go ahead and do that everywhere. So see, that moves things over a little bit, and that's looking cleaner. So I do that throughout my form to get good spacing everywhere, and you get a really clean result. And the beauty of this is that it's completely flexible. If I go into, I have nothing selected now. If I go into my labels style sheet and I go to tabs, and let's move over a bit here. If I move over my tabs stop, everything moves over. So this is really instead of using an underscore. So never type multiple characters like underscore, underscore, underscore to underline something, because that really gets messy. These make nice flexible spaces for your form, and you can set things up so that everything aligns perfectly every time.